Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Consistent Tofu again. Hooray! Yeah, please make sure you like the video, comment, subscribe, things of that nature. Share the video. It helps the algorithm. It makes life a little bit good, a little bit better for us. And yeah, we're gonna dive right in today. Today's video is gonna be analyzing. My video yesterday. I'm going into more detail to explain what I really thought about Erik ten Hag being, why Erik ten Hag should be sacked. And he rightfully should be sacked. He rightfully should be sacked. So at the end of the day, yeah. As I was saying, we'll move on. I was just looking at the comments in the video, and a lot of people are getting rattled, but I just come on here to say my opinion. I don't know. I just come here to say my opinion. Well, I digress. So yeah. Ten Hag. Where I'm at, what am I saying about Erik ten Hag? Okay. I have two very insightful comments here. Two very, very insightful comments here. But I'm gonna keep on what's it called? I'm gonna read them out and actually explain them. Right? So let me go to the first one. He says, I really respect your opinion and the way you have put it out, but here is why he should stay. The injuries have been horrible. I mean, truly horrible. We have had so many of them, and to key players as well. You can say other clubs have had injuries, but not to this scale and magnitude, talk less of key players. Okay, first off, Newcastle have had way more injuries than Man United this season. They've had way more injuries than Man United this season. And it's just the reality situation. And you can still see that even when Newcastle were injured, even when Eddie Howe did not have most of his players, there was still a style of play. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of right, but at the same time, if you look at it from another perspective, it's kind of wrong. I move on. Even clubs with injuries fall off in form, and when you compare that to our issues, it's huge. Lisandro Martinez has been out for the season, and he's our best center back. We haven't even had a proper left back all season, and Casemiro's legs have just gone. Hence, and he is our what? Hence the bad defense. Sorry about that. I was just trying to wonder what he was saying. But anyways, we haven't had a proper left back all season. But why did you let Reguilon go then? If we didn't have a proper left back all season, why did you let him go? He said Casemiro's legs have gone. That is a myth. That is not true. Casemiro's legs are not gone. Casemiro is looking vulnerable in this situation. He's looking very vulnerable in this situation because we are playing a formation. Our manager decided to play a 3-1-6 formation where our other two supporting midfielders are basically playing as false nines. They're basically playing as second strikers, sorry. Hence, it leaves the midfield very exposed. It's the real situation. It leaves the midfield very exposed. So, Casemiro looks vulnerable in that position. Amrabat played there at the start of the year. He looked very vulnerable too. Mainu played at the start of the year. He still looks kind of vulnerable. Don't get me wrong. Mainu is an absolutely good talent. But I'm just saying, we've seen Mainu play there, and he's also struggled. So it shows that something is wrong with the system. But what do I know? We haven't had our proper left back all season. Okay. So you can't say Ten Hag has misspent or bought bad signings. He's not really the one buying. First off, he's the one that recommends the players that the board go get. I am not saying he's the one buying. I am questioning his player ID. I am questioning his talent ID. Because we are saying, oh, he's bought good players, he's bought this. Okay, fair enough. You bought the likes of Onana because you want to have a ball-playing goalkeeper, right? But the style of play we're playing is not a ball-playing goalkeeper style of play. Because we're hoofing long balls, we're playing transition football. You don't need a ball-playing goalkeeper. 2 + 2 is 4, bro. Like, these things, you can see them. You bought Anthony that's used to a position style system, but we're not playing a position style system. So he looks vulnerable in the system. And I'm not saying Anthony's the best player in the world. I'm just giving an example. Meaning his talent ID contradicts his style of play. It's just, you can just see it from there. Anyway, we move on. It's the club that buys, right? He simply asks for a player and they go to negotiate, but our recruitment has been abysmal. Our recruitment has been abysmal. I'm not questioning that. Our recruitment is not good. They're not good. I'm not questioning that, and that's why we have new owners, and that's why that's why we want new owners to come to the club and actually instill, you know, the winning mentality from upstairs to downstairs. So like, we're making progress in the right direction. Okay. He asked for De Jong and Rabiot, but they got him an aging Casemiro at the last seconds. Okay, first off, De Jong and Rabiot, he asked for them, but you people need to understand that in a transfer window or in a transfer, there is something we call personal terms, and then you go talk with the club. If you don't agree personal terms, you ain't talking to the club, right? Because it's just like this. If I don't want to work for you, you can't negotiate how much you're gonna pay me. You can't, like, it just makes sense. So De Jong was basically using us to get more money from Barcelona. Yeah, but he was with us. We could not agree personal terms with De Jong. Hence, the transfer couldn't carry on. It's common sense. And aging Casemiro at the last seconds. Okay, Casemiro is a 5-time Champions League winner. We're not dismissing Casemiro here. We're not doing that. Last season, he was our most important player last season. We're not going to sit down here and discredit Casemiro because he is one of the leaders in the team. One of the best players in the team. Okay, he asked for Gakpo, but they got him Weghorst on loan at the last seconds. Okay, we can give you that. He needed another midfielder, but they also went and got Sabitzer on loan. Okay, first off, we would have been better off signing Sabitzer fully this season than Mason Mount. Factual. Mason Mount has not been available for most of this season. If we kept Sabitzer, yeah, we'll be a better team this season because Sabitzer is a player that's meant for the transition style of play that he wants to play. Mason Mount is, but he's been injured. So if you kept Sabitzer, it would have left you a little bit of money to even go get another person that we needed. But he didn't do that, of course. Okay, he asked for Gakpo and Nunes on separate occasions, but the club is crap on negotiations. Okay, good. We have been paying high prices and wages on players for ages. It can't be on Ten Hag. This club's recruitment and negotiation strategy is awful. Okay, good, we'll give you that. But then again, the recruitment and strategy is awful, but we have new owners now. So that argument is kind of in the bin. Because if they want to come in and say, okay, you know what, we'll change you, doing things in our own way, and if it starts with the manager, it starts with the manager. Okay, we've been paying high prices on wages on players for ages. It can't be on Ten Hag, okay? So, of the signings he did get, have been second choice, i.e. Rasmus. Even though he will become a banger, yeah, he was the second choice. Injuries have hit us hard because we don't have a squad depth with good players on the bench. Thanks to our poor recruitment strategies, forcing us to rely on players like Licha and Bruno, which is what we did all season. First off, Licha wasn't available for most of the season, so I don't really know what you're saying there, but I get the idea. Ten Hag actually has a style of play, but he can't implement it properly because we have players that have played under different managers. Hence, a squad with a mix of players adapted to different playing styles. Okay, first off, that's a myth. That's a lie. Because in our starting 11, okay, our goalkeeper, we have Onana, you're signing. Left back, we have Luke Shaw. You did not get Luke Shaw, but you signed Luke Shaw to an extension, hence you wanted him to stay. Martinez is your signing. Okay, he might not have been injured, but you still signed him. Okay, he might have been injured, but you still signed him. He's your player. Varane, okay, he's gone. Let's say he's not your player. Okay, we'll give you that. Wan-Bissaka, Diego Dallo, you signed him to a contract extension. Hence, he's your player. You want him to stay. Casemiro, you got your player. Bruno Fernandes, your captain. Scott McTominay, you play him every time. Mason Mount, yeah, Mason Mount doesn't start. On the left wing, you got Garnacho. He broke through from he broke through from the academy. Your player. You bought Rasmus Højlund, your player. Anthony, your player. Rashford, you signed to a contract, your player. Kobe Mainoo, a player that you brought from the academy, your player. That's 90% of the team I've named, bruv. That's his team. That is his team. Stop lying. It's his team. I get you want him to stay, but please bring factual information. Please. Ten Hag wants to play transitional and attacking football, but that is impossible because we've had to play a guy like Maguire who suits someone like suit someone like Southgate's system. Okay, we've had to play a guy like Maguire. If he didn't want Maguire so bad, he would have made him go from the club. But he didn't. But he didn't make it mandatory for Maguire to leave the club. He didn't make it mandatory. So you can't say that. He didn't make it mandatory for Maguire to leave the club. He didn't make it mandatory. Because I've seen Jose Mourinho at this club. I've seen him put the likes of Bastian Schweinsteiger and Victor Valdes. He put them in the reserves. Why couldn't you say, okay, you know what, mate? I stripped you out of the captaincy. You don't fit my style of play. You go to the defense. You basically go to the reserves. Maguire will go to West Ham. But he didn't do that. He still managed to keep Maguire out all season. So that's on him. That's fully on Ten Hag. It's fully on him. Let's call a spade a spade. Think of a guy like Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex almost got sacked during his first 5 years at the job, and he had similar problems to Ten Hag. This is a long... Okay, first off, I get what you're saying. Sir Alex, of course, almost got sacked. By the end of the day, Sir Alex was... He might not have won the Premier League, but he was successful in other cups. I think he won like 4 out of 5. Don't quote me on that, but I think he won like 4 out of 5. 4 trophies, right? Before the 5th one or something like that. Before in his 5 years, I think. But like, but Sir Alex Ferguson's situation is a different context to this, because in Sir Alex Ferguson, right? Sir Alex Ferguson, we didn't have new owners then. So the board in his time might have said, you know what, let's give him another year and see what he has to do. But in Ten Hag's situation, he's won 2 trophies in 2 years, good for you. But at the end of the day, what you have to look at is, you've won 2 trophies in 2 seasons, but then we have new owners. New owners want to bring their own people in. I want Ten Hag to be gone, but if he stays, if they say they want him to stay, okay, good, because that means they want him to stay. But if they don't want him to stay, they have every right to not make him stay, because they want the people that they can trust and the people that are thinking in the same direction as them. You don't know if Ten Hag is thinking in the same direction as them. You don't know that. This is a long-term project that will take time to succeed, and Erik Ten Hag has had only 2 years with all the side progress. Please give him next season, and also consider that the majority of the fan base want him to stay. First off, I've always appreciated the fan base. Don't get me wrong, I've always appreciated the fan base. Don't get me wrong, there's some absolute bums in the fan base, and there's some people I don't respect in the fan base. But what I would say is this: I think the managerial appointment in this situation depends on Ineos, because Ineos have to come in and bring their own people in. They have to come in and implement their own development and their own infrastructure that's going to enable the club to succeed over a long period of time. Is the truth. And he said, okay, I'll go back to my replacement at the end of the video. Someone here said, this is how you know a kid. Inexperienced talk. I have a lot to say to you, bro, and I get your points. But just to keep it simple, a wise person would see that he deserves 1 more season. There's no way around it. He had a bad season this year, but he did well last season. We have to give him 1 last chance to prove himself and decide. First off, mate, I'm not a kid. I am not a kid. That's your problem. I'm not a kid. I know you're rattled, of course, because most of you don't analyze Ten Hag from you don't analyze Ten Hag properly. You analyze him because you fancy him. I get it. I get your fantasies and your fancy nature. I get it. But you say, you get my point. Okay, if you want to have a chat, I'll get you on. We'll have a chat. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm not a kid, and that's your problem, mate. Okay. This one, I'm going to breeze past through this because he said, I've already gone past through it. He said, Ten Hag has fallen out with the players. He's quoting me. Just factually incorrect. These players have huge respect for Ten Hag and have even come out saying they want him to stay. Okay, man. Listen. The players want Ten Hag to stay. Of course, they're not going to come out and say they don't want him to stay. Like, if you work for your boss, you're not just going to come out and say you don't want to work for your boss anymore. That does not make sense. But you could see that at the start of the season, even till the end of the season, if there was huge, major issues in the dressing room. And that was because of the style of play. The players have huge respect. He hasn't, okay. His style of play is trash. We do not have a style of play. How does someone from a consistent style of play when there's no consistency in the starting 11 due to injuries? He's pulled out some incredible style of play this season in games we should have lost based on the shortage of first-team players. First off, if you have a system, if you bring a bench player into the system, yeah, they should still play the same style of play you want to play. Don't get me wrong, there might be a drop-off in terms of the quality, of course. He's a bench player. That makes sense. But if a player comes in from the bench to play in the team, if you have a definitive style of play, it shouldn't change the way you play. So what I'm saying is, in essence, if Leach is out injured and then you bring Lindelof in, we should still play a high line. We don't have to play a back. We don't have to sit deep. That's what I'm saying. If you have a definitive style of play, these players would adapt to that style of play. But we can clearly see that we have 11 individuals on the pitch because they don't know what they're doing, because they're not coached properly. It's not rocket science. It's the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's the truth. Well, anyways, he pulled out some incredible styles of play. I don't know what you're talking about there, mate. I don't think he did. I appreciate your comment. I'm not being rude, but I just do not think he's done anything consistent there, but it's all right. His signings have been crap. Malacia was decent, cheap backup for Luke Shaw when we were in need of another left back. But why did you let Reguilon go then in January? Make it make sense. Ten Hag could have never predicted his knee injury, but then, yeah, I just said that. Højlund was a great signing who showed he can be a top-level striker with the correct wingers and service around him. First off, okay, Højlund doesn't get service, right? But how come Bruno Fernandes is in for the chat of big chances created? If he's creating that much big chances, how is our striker starving? Like, make it make sense. How the hell is our striker starving? So it means either one of the two is wrong, because two of them in this situation can't be wrong. You know what I'm saying? One of them has to be wrong. Either the big chances created shit is utter crap, or the service shit is utter crap. We know what we're saying. That means I don't know. You decide. But that's what I'm just saying. Casemiro had a fantastic first season with us and was great early on in the season. Anthony was a crap signing. I'll give it to you. Okay, Amrabat has shown great ability towards the end of the season after getting used to the Premier League and getting more game time, and that was a cheap option because he's on loan. Onana's been up and down, and I'd much rather have kept De Gea, but it's an awful signing. Okay. I know you don't want to hear it, but it's true. Injuries have ruined our chances of fighting at the top level of the Premier League. Injuries have decimated our defense to the point we've had to play a 36-year-old Johnny Evans for 20-plus games. Then why did you sign Johnny Evans then? Why did you sign Johnny Evans? Because at the start of the season as a manager, you should put all these things into consideration that, oh, we're going to have players that are injured. Why are you signing a 36-year-old centre-back? A 36-year-old centre-back in Johnny Evans. Making make sense. You were the architect of a misfortune, apparently. Okay. Okay. Ten Hag also managed at Ajax. He's had an amazing eye for young talent and developing our youth academy. Just look at Maino and Garnacho. He's nurtured them to become fantastic players at 19 years old, showing incredible potential. I'll give you that. Me, personally, I don't rate Garnacho that highly, but whatever, it is what it is. If we keep switching manager every time, sometimes something doesn't go our way, we will never build a solid foundation for this club. Just rebuild with no consistency. First off, I get you, you're right, to some degree, but people don't put this into the context we're currently in, right? Ten Hag, the context we're currently in, we have new owners. These guys, they've already done their evaluation before they came to the club. They already know the manager they want before they came to the club. So, at the end of the day, you have to look at it and say, okay, listen, if these guys come in, if they come in, they already have their own man. So whatever Ten Hag does is kind of really irrelevant, or however we feel sorry for Ten Hag is really irrelevant, because the new guys that are coming in upstairs, they already have made up their mind on who they want to be their manager. So it's just the way it is. Okay. Yeah, and I'll just do a quick overview, a quick summary about what I think about Ten Hag. Don't get me wrong, as I said yesterday, he's done. He's gotten 2 trophies in 2 years at the end of the day. Good. Yada, yada, yada. Good. But, We cannot shy away from the fact that we finished 8th in the Premier League. That is our worst finish in my lifetime. And I haven't even lived that long. I haven't lived that long. Be 20 next year. I haven't lived that long. But most fans, older fans that I've spoken to have said that this is our worst season that they've seen in a long time. Finishing 8th in the Premier League. But because the Glazers and the board that we've had before, they've done such a great job at desensitizing, the standards at this football club, our fans are now accepting mediocrity. We finished 8th and we won in an FA Cup. Good job on Ten Hag. But at the end of the day, you have to evaluate the situation from a standpoint of what do Ineos want? And is Ten Hag the man to take us forward? Because he clearly isn't. He's falling out with players. We don't have a definitive style of play. You can see that he's very, very clueless. Don't get me wrong, he's had injuries. I'll give him that. But at the end of the day, one thing I've always said is this. There's only as much that not having a style of play can help you achieve. The FA Cup, we won the FA Cup, but let's be real, we did not even play that good. And City did not play that good. So in my opinion, Ten Hag should be sacked. Because he has failed. He's won a trophy. We'll give you that. But he has failed. He has failed. And it's the truth. Ten Hag has failed. Please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, leave a comment down below, things of that nature. I'll speak to you soon, of course, and I will speak to you regarding who I want to be the next manager of Man United. So please make sure you have a good time. Stay safe out there, please, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.